everyone, blessed be, and I wanted to talk to you today about what I use my book of shadows for and whether you need one, should you have one, and yeah. So this is my book of shadows, and it's getting nice and fat because it's got plenty in it. This cover did originally come on a notebook I had off Amazon, but the notebook was very thin. There were very few pages, so what I did was I attached the two covers, which are like a resin, to a blank sketchbook, and I used that as my journal. You'll recognise it because it's one of these, and I've just stuck this cover on. That's why it's got the handy dandy elastic. But yeah, I thought I'd explain to you what a book of shadows is and what it's for. And the way I see a book of shadows is it's like a journal for a witch, and it's a means of recording things you've learnt, spells and recipes you want to keep hold of. A grimoire would be more your sort of factual stuff and more, I suppose, more the history side of things. Imagine a grimoire would be more like a reference book, whereas this is more like a sort of notebook and sort of journal. So for me personally, I use this as a combination of a journal and also to write down little rituals or spells and incantations and things that I like to do. Basically it's the stuff that I've gathered over time that I like to do in my practice, and also works as a bit of a journal. So I should give you a little peek about inside. So I've got a couple of funny pictures I found off Instagram which I thought were funny. Basically I've got pictures of some of my altar setups. I've got some of the stuff that I am interested in, and I did put the Wiccan, like a section of the Wiccan reading here, because obviously when I started this was more me researching the Wicca side of things, but obviously I'm moving away from that now. So I like to make it arty and use different textures and papers and add photographs and notes. So like this one, I've got these different textures, these different papers and stuff. I've took some bits out of my Wreck This journal from years ago as well, and I've got little stickies which I've put my notes on, and then like I've wrote down about my altar setup. This was like one of the first altars I ever set up. This is my current one because I've downscaled it, and then little things to remind me, oh, this is useful because I can make lots of different colours with it, and the candles are quite small. I've got pages where I've used paint, or this is actually like a page I took out of my Wreck This journal where I just got 2 pages, put loads of paint on and squished it together. And I like the colour of it. And I originally, underneath there is writing, because originally I started using this just to document my research and write down things that I was learning about at the time. But because I've moved away from that, what I've started doing is redoing my journal, redoing my book of shadows to be more like a sort of journal. And yeah, so I've got some pictures of candles and things I've made, and the scrolling mirror I've done in a video. If you haven't seen that yet, that's coming out soon. Pictures of things that make me happy, like the lights on my Yule tree, and I love the frost on leaves on an early morning on a wintry day. That always makes me smile. I like the look of the frost and how it changes everything and makes everything sparkle. I've also added in like a little new moon prayer, and so I've got some bits I've typed up because I'm not a fan of my handwriting. I spent all my years going through school with everyone telling me my handwriting was terrible, so I don't actually like my own handwriting. So I do sometimes type stuff up, or I look stickies. This was on Selwyn, where I was just sitting there watching scary films and things by candlelight. It was beautiful, it was really nice. And then moon water, how I collect and make moon water. Information about my pets. So this is one of my snails when it was a teeny weeny baby. This was Gary, who has since gone, unfortunately, because he reached... Did he reach 5? No, he didn't. He didn't reach 5. Because 5's about the average lifespan in captivity of African lions now. They can live longer. I find most of mine do between 5 and 6 years. He did less, slightly less though. But he was a lovely little snail, and I had him from an egg. I rescued some eggs from someone else who'd got some snails and didn't want the eggs, and I kept 6, and he was one of the ones that hatched, so I had him from a hatchling. This was a little frog I found in a field. There was like it was near somewhere that was like a body of water, and if you all in the grass, there was loads of little new baby frogs that had obviously just not long transformed from tadpoles. So I was picking a couple of them up and having a look, and then very gently put them back. Wreath I made for Yule. Cleansing. Pouch for restful sleep. What else have I got? Things I've made to do with my practice that I've made YouTube videos of and that I've been quite pleased with. Little collection of pressed flowers. These are some forget-me-nots out in my garden. I did a bit about wearing a mask to go shopping, because obviously with the current things that are going on. Books I'm reading, so it's more like a journal than anything really. I'm just trying to see what's on the next page. Information on casting a circle. This is a particular one that I found that I like. My mandrake plant that I made, just because I like to, obviously, like, this is a journal as well, so I like to record things and this was a sculpture. I was really proud of how it looked once I redid it, so I included that as well because it makes me happy. Because the idea with this book is to remind me of stuff, but also to make me happy when I look through it. So I've got other things I've been making. Amethyst and its correspondences, plants I'm growing, examples of bay leaves and a bay leaf ritual, morning ritual which I like to do, candle magic omens. It's supposed, like, you know, for example, if you've got a normal flame, everything's working as expected. If the flame is small and blue, the spell might not be getting through, and prepare a backup plan. Crackling and popping, it's supposed to suggest that your spell may manifest, but in unexpected ways. It's one of my digital art pieces that I printed out. It's called a smudging prayer, but it's really a cleansing prayer. Correspondences. This is a picture of some smoke from some incense whispering around in my room that I like the look of. Pine cones and different objects and what their, like, natural objects and what their correspondences are. Rosemary, and the fact I'm trying to grow some. My first lot of rosemary didn't work, I don't know why. Other plants I'm growing, and just so I can remember the names of them and stuff. Wish potion, things about crystals and moon water. I draw now and again as well. I'm just trying to potions for recovery, information about Selene, the moon goddess, about Diana and Helios and Eos, this is an ingredients for a salwin powder to dress candles, or to make, like, what I call a mojo bag. It's basically just a pouch. Lavender in its correspondences, wheel of the year, protection home blend that I've come up with, pumpkin in its correspondences and all that sort of thing. So I've got quite a few things of that. New moon affirmation, information about witch bells, and I quite like little pouches where I can pull things out. So I've got examples of the bells I've got around my house for protection, and incense I can use for that. Salwin, what I made for Salwin. Information about Mabon and Beltane. I've got these pictures of these bunnies. These were out of a frame I got from the charity shop that I wanted to use the frame, but I didn't like the picture, but I like the bunnies. And obviously rabbits are associated with Beltane because it's all about fertility and that sort of thing. So, and Ostara as well, really. So I just stuck them there. Stuff about dreams, runes. Some of the stuff I've printed off the internet. Witch balls and different things that I've made. I quite like that little child's prayer. And this is a picture of a tree I like to sit under at the park. It's my favourite tree. I don't know, I just feel really calm and peaceful when I sit under that tree. So that's where I like to sit when I want to sort of be in open spaces and rest. So yeah, that's what's in my Book of Shadows. So it's more like a sort of, for me, a Book of Shadows is a journal. But it's also a way of recording things that I've done in my practice, and also just little reminders of spells and things that I like to do. So yeah, that's what's in my Book of Shadows. Hope you've enjoyed having a quick flick through. If you want to let me know what's in yours, let me know in the comments below. What do you use your Book of Shadows for? Do you use it for a similar purpose to me, or is yours more of a you know, to record the history of witchcraft, or to record history of paganism, or, what do you use your Book of Shadows for? If you want to answer that question, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read them. And yeah, I'm hoping to make this more arty, so I'm trying to add more colour to it, more drawings, more pictures. And I've found where my stamps are, and I've got my embossing powders and things, so I'm hoping to make it more sparkly and marvellous. So yeah, that's my Book of Shadows. Thank you for watching, blessed be, and bye for now.